I'm here with Melissa Day, who's the organiser of today's event. Now, do you want to just explain what's happening today?
What we're doing is a day that's dedicated to celebrating the history of Sanctuary in the UK, looking at it in different faiths, and also illustrating the importance of offering safety and welcome to people in our communities today.
So what gave you the idea to organise an event like this?
This is really our contribution to Refugee Week, but we would hope that Sanctuary Sunday will be a day celebrated every year.
What do you think people will take away from this?
Well, I really hope that people will perhaps get a bit of a better understanding of the situations people find themselves in when they do come to the UK, because unfortunately it's not always a nice welcome, and that's what we really want to encourage, a real welcome and hospitable sanctuary for people whose lives are very much in danger.
I'm here with Reverend Louis Mavunyi, who's one of the speakers today. So what is it that you're going to be speaking to everyone about today?
Just to share my Rwandan story, and how giving people as a sanctuary, people who are fleeing. Like I've heard that there are people from Iraq here who are asylum seekers. Showing love, hospitality, and welcome is very, very, very important, and it's human. So I, coming from Rwanda, which has gone through wars and troubles and genocide, so I feel it's a good thing to give such people love and hospitality. It's part of their healing.
What do you think is the importance of today's event?
It's important because you are here talking and trying to think and trying to find ways of how to love these people and how to welcome these people, because they come traumatized, they come separated from their families. So it's wonderful to be here and to be part of this.
Why do you think it's good to support events like this then for Ipswich?
Well, I think you can see from the number of people who have turned up today that this is a subject that touches people's hearts, actually. It's something that I've considered over the years, particularly as a politician. And I'm an immigrant myself, albeit an economic immigrant. It's only when you hear the stories, not just the ones we've heard today, but we've heard of case studies in the past, that you realise that people who are suffering extreme hardship, torture, terror in their own countries, the desperation that they feel in having to leave those countries and seek sanctuary, look for protection, which is what was mentioned today, and then to find that they are facing another set of desperate circumstances. I thought the Congolese example that we've just sat through was really quite terrifying. Somebody had thought he was safe coming to this country, and then through the experience that he had, realises his life is actually even more despairing here than it was back in his own country. That makes people like myself, a politician in a town like Ipswich, realise that if we can do anything to welcome, support, help other people, particularly at difficult times of their lives, that's actually what we should be doing.
I'm here with Rita and Nuf from Ice and Fire Theatre, who've just performed an amazing piece for us. So do you want to explain a little bit about what it was that you performed?
Well, basically it was the two stories of these two very different, but at the same time very similar asylum seekers. And I play the character of Mary, who was her husband was a political prisoner, and her and her two children were being threatened by members of the government, and so they managed to flee to England. And basically, it's her telling her story of the difficulty she had trying to gain asylum in this country. And Nif, do you want to talk about your character?
Yeah, my character was Willie, who the gentleman actually is here today, watching the performance for the first time. And I just spoke to him, and he said he just found it quite hard to watch and listen to, because obviously he'd lived through those events. But he's a gentleman from Congo who's suffered the awful regime that's going on at the moment, and has fled the country for the safety, basically, to avoid death. Of course, his family think he's passed away, and he's fled to this country hoping for a better life, or until Congo sorts itself out. And of course, he's struggling over here. He's not working. He can't work. He has to beg for food and money. He's struggling just as bad over here as he would have over there. So he really is, like it says in the script, a big dilemma. He's not sure what to do, and we're trying to fight, and he's trying to fight to stay in his country and work.
What do you hope people will take away from this piece?
Just so they can gain a perspective as to what asylum seekers really go through. Because I think a lot of the media nowadays sort of depicts them in a very negative light. They don't actually look at them as human beings. I mean, they're human beings that are escaping. I mean, they don't. They want to stay in their own countries. I mean, if their countries were safe, as both our characters have said, if the countries were safe, they would stay there happily. But because they're escaping from so much oppression and their very lives are being threatened, it just seems when they come over here that they deserve more respect than that. We owe it to them to welcome them here and offer them safety and protection.